riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that we has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album, the show where we pick a song or album, listen to it for an entire week straight, and then come back here and tell you, the listener, if we hate it and why. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, the truck nuts to my truck dick. What? Gino.
Good boy, Gino.
That is
funny.
Terrible. I may edit that. Ugh. Co-host extraordinaire, aka truck dick. Ugh. Timothy Richardson. Tim, how are you? My day's ruined.
Well, Garrett, in lieu of answering that question this week, I have a retraction to issue and an apology to make. Last week...
Well, that's rare. A rare apology.
Absolutely. Last week, I said some unkind things regarding Mark Zuckerberg, aka Z-Pain, and T-Pain's rendition of Lil Jon's Get Low. I spent a lot more time listening this week to this song with some new friends who are in town from California, Ari Cohen, Diamond McSullivan, and The Bruiser. And I have to say, Garrett, while listening to the song in a new context, I really like it. I think it works. Z-Pain's voice is perfect for the acoustic pop-punk-esque interpretation, and despite the subject matter of the song, it is a sweet tribute to his wife. Mr. Zuckerberg, I am sorry for what I said. I think that fulfills everything.
Jesus. Interesting. What did they threaten you with?
Nothing.
Fair enough. All right. Retraction printed. Suspicious apologies out of the way. Tim, what song have we been listening to for an entire week straight?
We have been listening to the almost defiantly non-single Please Daddy, Don't Get Drunk This Christmas by Jonald Denver, released on at least two albums, Farewell Andromeda in 1973 and Rocky Mountain Christmas in 75.
Yeah. And after an entire week with this Christmas song, I'm very curious. Do you hate this song?
No, Garrett, not at all. But this is not one of his better songs. This is Bottom Shelf Denv.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Garrett? Do you hate this song?
No, I don't. I'm disappointed.
A little, yeah. Did you like the Decemberists cover of it?
No.
Oh.
It's not worthy.
No, it's not worthy of any sort of covers.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was just meh. Like I couldn't even get excited. Well, we're going to get into it. So you don't hate it. I don't hate it, but we're certainly not excited about it. Before we talk about the song itself, I am a little curious, Tim, what's your history with Johnny D? And more specifically, had you ever even heard of this song before this week?
Basically no history with this song. I was aware of its existence. And of course, I am an active member of 3 John Denver fan clubs. But I don't think I've ever heard this song before. I might have heard that Decemberist cover. I'm also not sure about that. I have, of course, heard the song that comes directly after this one on the Christmas album, Christmas for Cowboys, which I am here to tell you, shit's hot snakes. Hot snakes, Garrett.
Okay, that's not how that's used.
Hot, angry, venomous snakes. Garrett, have you heard this song before? Do you love John Denver?
Yeah, I love John Denver. I think I can say that.
The Denv.
The Denv is a terrible nickname. Johnny D we'll stick with, for sure. The Denv. Man, we really need to get your head wrapped around syllables. I think your nicknames, or at least your abbreviated nicknames, are going to get like 100 times better if we can just get you to comprehend syllables.
Disagree completely.
I don't think you'd have come up with the Denv. All right. Well, that's your history. That's my history. That is to say, I've heard a bunch of John Denver hits that we have all heard before in the past. Never heard this song. Can't say that I'm shocked at all because it is, and this is true, depressing and sad. But we'll get into it in all its gory detail in just a moment. But before we do, I want to learn a little bit about the man. I need to understand Tim, and I hope you got the facts. How did this song come to be, and who is Mr. Jonathan Denver?
Jonathan Denver, real name Henry Jonald Deutschendorf Jr., was born in... You heard me. Deutschendorf is what I really think you should focus on.
That part's correct.
was born in Roswell, New Mexico on December 31st, 1943, 3.5 years before a spaceship crashed in his neighborhood. His father, Captain Henry John Dutch Deutschendorf Sr., was an Air Force pilot, presumably involved with all of those UFOs, and by all accounts, a bit of a dick. The family moved around quite a bit during his early years, leading the young John to not have many friends as a kid. The longest period of time he spent was in Tucson from ages 6 to 14, but there were a bunch of places before and after that. He learned to play acoustic guitar after his grandmama gave him one at 11 or so. When he was 14, he moved to Fort Worth, Texas, and attended Arlington Heights High School, go Wildcats, which is a mediocre at best school that has also quote-unquote educated the likes of Lee Harvey Oswald and Lee Harvey Oswald admirer Garrett Harvey Oswald. He always leaves that little bit off the end of it, a real Kendrick Lamar Duckworth move.
My last name is not Oswald. I need everyone to not just hear me say it, but know it. Know that that's untrue.
But you are a fan. He hated Arlington Heights.
I am a fan of okay? I appreciate
Jesus. He hated Arlington Heights, and based on his appearance was probably bullied quite a bit, as was Garrett, also at Arlington Heights. So he stole his dad's car to move to California to begin a music career. Now, this was of course a poor plan because his father was an Air Force pilot, so his dad borrowed a jet from one of his buddies and flew to retrieve him. The internet does not seem to know what kind of plane he flew there, but around that time, the elder Deutschendorf was setting speed records in the Convair B-58, so I like to think he took the first bomber capable of Mach 2 flight to pick up that little asshole in California.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. John cut off 2 of his toes with a lawnmower and then graduated from Arlington Heights High School with an absolutely worthless degree and got into Texas Tech University, go Wildcats. He moved to Lubbock and started performing acoustic sets in local clubs, eventually changing his name to John Denver, when Randy Sparks, the founder of the band The New Christy Minstrels, which was, of course, named after but not the same thing as the blackface group Christy's Minstrels, told him the last name would definitely not fit on a marquee. That band also had a song called Denver, so I assume Johnny the Denv stole that name from Randy. Now, John Denver was part of the Alpine Trio with Jonathan Portland and Bobby Alaska in Lubbock, but then dropped out of school to move to LA, where he performed in folk clubs and replaced Chad Mitchell in the Chad Mitchell Trio in 1965. They kept the name the Mitchell Trio despite Chad not being in the band until the other 2 members were replaced, at which point contractual requirements prohibited them from retaining the name, as there were no original members, so they changed it to Denver, Boise, and Johnson. It's a boring end there. They broke up in 1969.
Good.
At which point, JD went solo. He was signed to RCA and released Rhymes and Reasons in 1969 that featured the song Leaving on a Jet Plane, a weirdly sexy song. The definitive version, of course, was performed by Ben Giza Affleck before he went into space that one time. I think our girl Diane Warren was there.
That is a ridiculous reference. Keep going.
There was no real tour scheduled for that album at all, so John just kind of went around and offered to play for free. He would show up unannounced at radio stations. He made his own concert posters and just put them up around town as he sort of just drifted around the US. The usual, but he kind of built up an actual fan base like that.
If you're good, you could do it back then.
Yeah. In 1970, he released Take Me to Tomorrow and Whose Garden Was This? In 1971, he released Poems, Prayers, and Promises, which included Take Me Home Country Road, which hit number 2 on the Billboard charts, and then released Ailey, and became even weirder looking.
He is weird looking. We haven't mentioned that. Also, what did he release?
Ailey. I've only seen it written. I do not know how to pronounce it.
Right.
In 1972, he released Rocky Mountain High, then Farewell and Andromeda in 73, which featured the Song of the Week, a Greatest Hits album in 73, Back Home Again in 74, An Evening with John Denver in 75, etc. All the while, he's just kicking ass. Several of these hit number 1 on the Billboard 200, sold millions of copies at each. That Greatest Hits album I mentioned sold more than 9 million copies in the US alone.
Jesus.
But each one of these, other than the Greatest Hits, has like 1 to 2 John Denver songs. The rest are just a bunch of covers, often Beatles and James Taylor songs. So really what he's doing is releasing a single or 2 twice a year with just a set of covers on it, and it's kind of genius.
Yeah, and people enjoy enjoy it.
Yeah. He also did a BBC music and variety show called The John Denver Show in 73. Then in 1975, he released Rocky Mountain Christmas, which also featured the song of the week, as well as an accompanying TV special that was watched by more than 60 million Americans and was at the time the highest rated show ever on ABC. He then went on to star in a bunch of Muppet-related properties that I have never seen because I am uninterested in puppets of any sort. I certainly want nothing to do with Muppets. I hate them. I find them boring. They suck.
They don't suck. They're amazing. Those specials are awesome. I love every time he appeared on The Muppet Show. Tim is soulless and mean.
I'm not mean.
You're mean. You said they suck.
They do suck.
You know I love them.
They do suck.
They don't suck.
Both.
Fozzie, Gonzo, Kermit, Miss Piggy. They rock. Listeners, write in heypodmail@gmail.com.
Listen, I know the listeners agree with you, but the listeners, and this is true, are fucking wrong. At least on this one.
They are not wrong. Muppet Army, write in. heypodmail@gmail.com.
No, we do not need a Tim is wrong. Come on.
We do need a Marmy. At least you didn't say Army. Getting better.
Anyway, Garrett, John Denver hosted the Grammys and The Tonight Show a bunch of times, which is weird, all the while making new music that less and less people were interested in. His dad also taught him how to fly around this time in a sweet father/son bonding reconciliation type moment that will not end poorly. He campaigned for James Carter. He founded a bunch of charity causes, mostly around environmental things and AIDS, and continued to release music that more and more was not very good. In 1982, he got divorced from his wife. She cut down his favorite trees on their property, so he cut their bed in half with a chainsaw and shredded up a bunch of their furniture and allegedly choked her. The same year, he ended his business relationship with his manager, Jerry Weintraub, who then accused him of Nazism.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I think it's because he's all blonde and weird looking, and that guy's last name was Weintraub.
I mean, listen, I didn't know John Denver personally, but I don't think he was a Nazi.
You heard it here first, folks. John Denver might have been a Nazi.
You didn't hear it here first. Jerry Weintraub said it first.
Well, they didn't hear it from him.
Nobody's listening to that guy. He's like 80.
Oh, I really appreciate what you did there, Garrett. I thought you were going to say something much more horrible.
Jesus Christ. No.
John Denver composed the theme song to the 1984 Winter Olympics and attempted to participate in the We Are the World single, but he was refused. He was turned down because, and I'm quoting here, his image would hurt the credibility of the song as a pop rock anthem, which is rude. It's a rude thing to say.
How?
I don't know, Garrett. I don't know. He would later write in his autobiography that it broke his heart to be excluded. I'm going to say they probably just didn't want a guy that looks weird singing that song, you know?
I mean,
want to
go
keep
back and watch the video of them
people.
recording it. There are some crazy looking people in that video.
Oh yeah, that was my joke, Garrett. He then tried to become a cosmonaut, but the negotiations fell apart.
I'm sorry, what?
He then tried to become a cosmonaut, but the negotiations with Russia
No,
fell
don't just
apart.
say it again. Explain yourself.
I think that explains it perfectly. He wanted to go to space like that fucking Lance Bass fella. He tried to become some sort of Russian cosmonaut, and, it was going pretty well. He was making some progress. I'm sure he gave him a bunch of money, and then it didn't happen. Fell apart.
I hate that I was going to say, like the Lance Bass thing? God damn it.
He opposed the PMRC, testifying before Congress about how Rocky Mountain High was misconstrued as a drug song, when it is really just about how crazy it is that those mountains are so goddamn tall. He performed in the USSR and People's Republic of China in the late 80s, early 90s, making that cosmonaut thing feel a little weird, and recorded a children's train album, which won him his only Grammy for Best Musical Album for Children.
What's a train album?
It's a kid's album for trains. No, sorry, it's a train album for kids.
Okay.
I think it's songs about trains for children who love trains. I can
make an autism joke here, but I'm not gonna.
Accurate, though. In 1993, he got a DUI. In 1994, he got a DUI after crashing his Porsche into a tree, which somehow resulted in a hung jury. In 1996, the FAA determined that Denver was medically disqualified from operating an aircraft due to his inability to stop drinking, preventing him from ever again legally flying an airplane. In 1997, he flew his airplane.
Help but notice you said legally.
Yes. In 1997, he flew his airplane and forgot to, or for some reason was not able to switch fuel tanks mid-flight, so he crashed and died at 53 years old.
That's why he crashed?
Yeah.
He ran out of gas?
No. He had gas. He just didn't switch to the fuel tank with
Sure,
gas.
effectively, though. I mean, what you're saying does make it worse.
Yeah. There was some speculation that it might not have been an accident.
No, it was almost certainly an alcohol-related accident.
No, he was apparently sober during this.
According to who?
Alleged blood tests.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you know.
I still don't buy it. But he was still doing it illegally, right?
Yeah, he was not supposed to be flying. A decade later, the Colorado Senate made Rocky Mountain High one of their 2 official state songs over the objections that it was about drug use by some idiots in their legislature that did not apparently understand what is Colorado.
Also, just like, hi, I'm a Colorado legislator. I'm a Colorado. What is happening to me?
Stroke?
What am I trying to say? I am a Colorado legislator. God, I can't say it.
Garrett Harvey, master of enunciation.
Jesus, dude, I'm scared. All I have are my words. Hi, I'm a Colorado legislator. I have absolutely nothing better to do than to debate the meaning of Rocky Mountain High.
Yeah, but you remember what the politics were like and continue to be like,
I was
and
gonna say
forever will be like.
They've gotten so much worse. God. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
It's par for the course, but just, God damn it. Like, also, for the love of God, Oklahoma saw their way to make Do You Realize their state song.
Yeah, beautiful song.
It's a great song. Just everybody fucking relax.
Yeah. A few years later, West Virginia made Take Me Home Country Roads their official state song to absolutely no complaints. Over his career, Garrett, John Denver Deutschendorf Jr. released 33 studio albums, 10 live albums, 26 compilation albums, 44 singles, including 3 #1 albums and 4 #1 singles. He's got 33 million sales overall. LaFace.
And a country road to you.
Take me home, friend.
I had no idea that's how he died. That is shocking.
You didn't know about the plane or about the not
No, I knew about
moving
the
a
plane.
lever.
Not moving a lever.
Yeah.
I really think it's like flipping a switch.
Yeah.
I used to have a truck with 2 gas tanks. You could just flip the switch. You do it while you're driving. It's great.
Yeah, probably shouldn't, though. Or should
I don't
you?
know.
I don't know.
I honestly have no idea.
Trucks, right in.
HatePodmail@gmail.com. Are you a truck? Do you have 2 gas tanks? Anyway, great history, Tim. It wasn't quite as long as I thought it might have been, and I appreciate that.
I can go
That
longer.
brings us. I know. I'm thanking you for not. Wasn't a threat or a challenge. That brings us to the song itself. Let's take a little listen before we get into the details. Here you go. John Denver, his masterpiece, so great it had to appear on 3 separate albums that nobody's ever heard. Please, Daddy, don't get drunk this Christmas.
Daddy, don't get drunk this Christmas.
Weirdly sexy.
What?
Sorry, not weirdly sexy.
There we go. Yikes. It's weirdly upbeat.
It is. It's very upbeat. It's a fairly standard country from a musical standpoint. There's nothing really special, different here. There's a very loose sounding piano, pedal steel, the plodding bass, the half spoken, half sung thing. He really leans into that accent, though. He almost yodels for parts of it.
Absolutely. I think there is, in fact, a version where there is a bit of a yodel. It was not in the version I had, sadly.
Yeah, I believe the 2 from 73 and 75 are somewhat different. I did not go looking for 2 versions.
I went looking and was unsuccessful and gave up quickly.
Fair enough. This song is written by Bill Danoff and Taffy Nivert, a husband and wife duo that also co-wrote Take Me Home Country Roads. They were also the majority of the Starland vocal band and wrote Afternoon Delight, Billboard's 20th sexiest song of all time as of 2010, and that is not a made-up Tim fact.
Yeah, that's a real fact, everybody. I would say not high enough.
Agreed.
It's a sexy song.
Yeah. I mean, this is also a sexy song, but it is not as sexy as Afternoon Delight or Take Me Home Country Roads.
I need you to stop saying this is sexy. What part is sexy?
The sound of it.
Okay, thank God. That's literally the only answer I was going to accept. Yeah, no, beautiful singing voice.
Yeah.
Have we said that?
Kind of yodels a little, though.
It does immediately lead to the question, why is this so cheerful, given the content?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. I mean, the only other question I have before we get into the actual content of the lyrics is, like, did he think this was going to become a Christmas hit?
I also don't know. I mean, he has a lot of Christmas songs, like a lot of them. And they're
That's
all
true.
like, they're all weird. It seems like this man I don't want to say wrote because he didn't write all of them, but he recorded a Christmas song for like every demographic, right? There's a cowboy Christmas song. There's a pirate Christmas song. There's a dandy Christmas song. There's a wife beater Christmas song.
There's
weird.
a Muppet Christmas song.
Ugh, that's the worst of them.
I swear to God, I will stitch you into a Muppet. I
wouldn't be the first time.
propofol you, and I will stitch you into a Muppet.
I mean, please don't, but it's happened before. I
That was just
been
a burlap
puppet.
sack. Oh God, that's terrifying. I'm not going to ask you to elaborate at all.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the lyrics because they are shattering.
Yeah. And there's not much to this. We can be done with
No.
this in probably 2 minutes. Let's try to hit that.
We'll see. Please, Daddy, don't get drunk this Christmas. I don't want to see my mama cry.
Is it mama or mama? Mama.
Transcribed as mama, I think it's mama. Because mama's not a word.
Yeah, but this is also like
That's true.
It's phrased, it's written as if it was supposed to be sung by some sort of Dickensian street urchin.
That's true. Let's see. Please, Daddy, don't get drunk this Christmas. I don't want to see my mama cry. So let's just start there. Why is she crying?
Well, she cries every Christmas.
Every Christmas, Daddy gets drunk.
Well, sure, and up to this point, he has gotten drunk every Christmas.
Or is it a Phoebe Cates situation in Gremlins, where she gets sad every Christmas because her father died in a chimney?
Ooh, I like that.
That is hands down one of the greatest moments in all of film history. The Phoebe Cates monologue about her father dying dressed as Santa Claus in the chimney is insane.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, it doesn't seem to be because
No.
it's more focused around this man.
It's Daddy. It's what Daddy is doing. And now we can go a lot of directions here, folks. Mama might just be sad that Daddy's getting drunk again. And, reason enough to cry. However, the implication is a bit more sinister, I suspect.
Yes. Just last year when I was only 7, and now I'm almost 8, as you can see. Okay, first of all, I don't need him listing ages, but this does not make any goddamn sense. If he was 7 last Christmas, he's still 7 this Christmas. Is he a ghost?
Oh my God. Oh my
Just
God.
added 20 minutes to the goddamn thing.
Oh my, he's definitely a ghost, Tim. Daddy got drunk last Christmas. There was the incident where, let's say, I don't know, little Timmy fell down the stairs, quote unquote. At least that's what we told the emergency team that arrived.
Yeah, and it might actually be, so the next line, so the verse is, just last year when I was only 7, and now I'm almost 8, as you can see. You came home at 11:15, fell down under our Christmas tree. It doesn't necessarily mean that the dad fell down. Perhaps the child, having been,
Was struck down.
Yeah, and then landed under the Christmas tree.
Maybe left his bike in the driveway one too many times.
Oh dear.
Yeah, his words, not mine.
No, these are your words. These are words you're saying, which are not written
I'm
down
just
in our notes.
elaborating on the concept he established in the song.
None of this is in the script, Garrett.
Going off book. Then we get the chorus again. This verse, for some reason, has a mandolin playing during it, which is baffling, but that's fine. God, I'm sorry. This verse is chilling. Mama smiled and looked outside the window. She told me, son, you better go upstairs. Then you laughed and hollered, Merry Christmas. I turned around and saw my mama's tears. So here's what I'm picturing. I think this is now, based on our new theory, a retelling of the incident last year. And so he came home. She was like, you better go on to bed. It looks like Daddy's really tied one on. Oh, or maybe it is this year. In either event. So Mama looks outside the window, sees Daddy coming home again for Christmas, blackout drunk.
Yeah, and based on John Denver's past, he's probably smashing his Porsche into a tree in their front yard.
Yeah, aka parking it, as he calls it. And then she's like, oh, Jesus, get upstairs. Your father's home. Get upstairs. But he's dressed as Santa.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. And then, folks, here's the downside. You get the chorus one more time and the song's over.
Well, yeah, no. You're jumping ahead. Yeah, he comes home. The way it's described is fairly chilling, right? Because you laughed and hollered Merry Christmas. So the implication here, at least on the surface read, is he has to go upstairs while the dad laughs, screams Merry Christmas, and presumably punches that lady.
Yeah, no, violence ensues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am picturing a man who crashes his Porsche into a gorgeous maple tree in the front yard, gets out stumbling, bleeding from the face, holding a half-empty bottle of Jack Daniels, screaming, Merry fucking Christmas. And she's like, oh my God, get upstairs. Your father's home. Yeah.
Not
and
that
we all
sexy.
know what happens next. It was never sexy.
Christmas is a sexy time of the year, Garrett.
I don't think that word means what you think it means. I hope it doesn't. No music video, of course, because what in the world would that look like?
I mean, I think we described it pretty well. Some sort of ghost boy and domestic violence.
What if it's a multiple brother situation? So the first one is from the perspective of Ghost Boy, and then the second one is his little brother, and she's like, oh, you need to get upstairs. We don't want to have a recreation of last year.
Right, and so he punches her, because he can't find that boy.
That's right. Jesus. Not better. Tim, how'd this song do?
No idea, and we no longer have access to any Dutch. This was not a single, but there is a 7-inch for $99 on Amazon right now.
Oh, that's too much. Don't buy that.
I'm gonna buy it.
Why?
It's gonna be worth more in the future.
Nothing.
If it's worth
That's untrue.
$99 now, Garrett, it's been out for what, 50 years? If it's worth $99 now, in another 50 years, it'll probably be worth something like $200. We just have to hang on to it until then.
Give me $99 and I will give you back a lot more than 250 years from now.
I don't trust you.
You don't get math. Okay, that's how it did. What did people think of it?
Well, unfortunately, we do not have a Bobby Seagow review, but Bobby Seagow hates John Denver.
Really?
Yeah, not a fan of his music. There's only a single Amazon review, but it is 5 stars and not interesting, so I went to YouTube to draw out these crazies. First one by VD James 721 from 11 months ago. My parents did not drink. They never kept alcohol of any kind in the house, but when we were little and had a bad chest cold, Mom sent my father to the liquor store to get some whiskey and rock candy. She would make some hot tea with lemon. She put a little whiskey in the hot tea, not enough to get us drunk, but to break up the cold in her chest, we would drink this before we went to bed so we didn't stay up coughing all night, along with cod liver oil. That stuff was awful. I must say that it worked, but I never saw either of my parents get drunk. Christmas was fun in our house. Today, my parents are gone. I did not become an alcoholic or indulge in strong drink, but in the winter, when it is cold, I will have a little Jack and honey in my hot tea before I go to sleep. That's only if I have a chest cold. I do remember best friend had the flu. His mother took him to the ER. The hospital was full. The doctor told her to go get her father some whiskey. It was just as good or better than what they would give him.
No.
So she took him home, gave him some soup, put him in bed, fixed him some hot tea with honey and whiskey. He ranked that and went to sleep. I don't know how much whiskey, but I'm told he slept through the night. His fever broke and he stopped.
Oh my God, what's happening?
Was better the next day. After 3 days, he went back to work. Now, I'm not pushing Jack Daniels with honey.
Oh my God.
But they do have Jack with honey now. But that's what I take if I start coughing or get a bad cold. I still take cod liver oil. I'd rather take that than the stuff over the counter. I know what I'm taking. No, I don't get drunk. Don't judge me. Love, respect, and positivity always. V.
Wow.
That's the dumbest review we've ever had.
Oh, that's untrue, but it's up there. Top 3. Easy top 3. My God. That fucking fascinating. I mean, that guy's got to be 78 years old.
I mean,
at
it's
least.
definitely a lady. No offense to our women listeners, but that rings of lady babble.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was picturing a man.
I was picturing a
Interesting.
lady named VD James.
We're usually switched on that. That's
I know.
interesting.
I know. Oh,
I wonder
no.
what's going on.
Yeah, weird.
Weird. God, please tell me that's the only review.
I mean, I
'cause it
have
really
a couple
is.
others, but we can end on that one if you'd like. The others,
Yeah, there's no way they're gonna pay. They're gonna pale in comparison.
I mean, they get sad and terrifying, but yeah, we can move on.
Oh, I do like sad and terrifying.
Yeah.
Do you think any?
Just imagine it. Just imagine it. It's that, but with child abuse.
Oh,
But that length.
Yeah.
And that's stupid.
who's this for?
People that grew up in the 70s, I think. People that are fans of the Muppets.
No, you leave the Muppets out of this.
Fair enough.
I do think it's for John Denver enthusiasts and possibly alcoholics.
Yeah, it's for completists. It's not for alcoholics, though. They don't want to listen to this.
Well, moral of the story was Daddy told Mama to go fuck herself and got hammered.
Yes, I
So
guess
they might
might.
see it as a triumph.
Yeah.
I see it as tragic.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Timmy. Final thoughts. I'll start. Why does this exist?
That's fair. Should not. But Garrett, given all the Muppet stuff he did, he really should have incorporated this into one of those shows. If there was a place, one place I would genuinely enjoy hearing this song, that might be it. I mean, I will never know, of course, because I have no interest in the Muppets or any fuzzy puppets, but like, you might know. You can tell me if it's funny or not. Don't show it to me, but you know.
Right.
And
great.
it's different than Sesame Street, you saying?
Yes.
Okay.
However, Kermit does appear on both.
What?
I know, that's a little confusing. He's the only crossover, and for the most part, he only does the news.
What? They do... God damn it, I want to know about these Muppets and Streeters.
Streeters? That can't be what they call them.
We'll never find out.
Tim, do you hate this song?
No, but yeah, I agree that this just does not need to exist. This seems unnecessary, but it's also like 3 minutes long, and I did not have to do much work this week. So, no, I don't. What about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. It's, it's fun as a curiosity. Just like, why would you do this?
Yeah, it's one of those things I'm glad that it exists so I can tell people that it exists, but I would never listen to this again.
No. Listeners, write in. Do you know anybody who likes this song and is like actively turning it on? HeyPodmail@gmail.com. Alrighty, that brings us to listener mail. Tim, you want to go first or should I?
Probably me, right?
I guess.
No, you go first. You go first this week.
The dithering is maddening. All right. My email is from, from Liquid Snake.
Weird. You're weird.
So
people.
I only read the first sentence of this and it made me giggle. So we'll see where it goes. It's longer than I want to admit. Title is Movie Was Never the Problem. He writes, Dear Garrett Harvey, Grand Lacostier of Mankind, and Timothy Richardson, official friend and couchbed neighbor of the Grand Lacostier of Mankind.
Accurate.
Phenomenal start to the email. I apologize for addressing my ex-husband Major Laser. I'm sorry. What? I didn't read beyond the Lacostier of Mankind. I apologize for addressing my ex-husband Major Laser in this medium, but he violated the agreement in our divorce and blocked my number again. So, unfortunately, you're the only medium of communication we have right now. God damn it. We have become the intermediary for two people that are getting divorced.
That happens a lot, actually.
Aren't these also the two people that are having a deranged off?
Quite possibly.
I think they're currently competing as the most deranged listener.
Did not realize they were married.
I didn't either. Well, remember in the last email, they said that there was something about a videotape not getting returned or something?
Yeah, maybe. I don't really listen.
Fantastic.
I definitely don't listen to the show.
Oh, yeah, no. That would be really strange. Major, you know I'm not concerned about the movie collection, other than my VHS of Weekend at Bernie's that I definitely bought before the marriage. You know I want Tim's blood back. Oh, it's the person that has your blood. Yeah, the person who won some sort of raffle or some shit and got your blood. I won that fair and square, and the judge said you had to give it back to me by October 1st. I hate that we have become the intermediary here. You know how much it hurts me when you hold my things hostage like this? We went through 18 months of marriage counseling over this, and your refusal to change is why I filed for divorce in the first place. Doing it more now won't bring me back. Just send me back Tim's blood. Show me you've changed long term, and maybe we can get dinner after the Legion of Ultimate Evil conference next September. What? What is this? Tim, what is this? What's happening?
I do not know.
Now, Garth and Thomas. I unfortunately have to agree with my ex. You should do the Venga Boys, and I'd also like to suggest you do more nu metal. I loved it when you ripped apart System of a Down. Maybe do them again. XOXO Liquid. This is very strange, guys. We really don't want to be in the middle of this for like a number of reasons.
Yeah.
Don't love that people are walking around and arguing over your blood. Although I do like the idea of a judge having to rule on what to do with another person's blood. That's pretty funny. I'm sorry. What do you have now?
Blood.
It's a podcaster's blood I won in a raffle?
Yeah, I'm deranged.
And yeah, we're having this like deranged off through their email.
You get it.
I do not. What do you got, Tim? Some sort of funny email?
Yeah, I've got an email called My Return from Hell by Dreward.
Okay.
Hello, Tim and Gassy. I don't know if you remember me, but I'm Drew. Me and my good friend Nolan made a lot of delightfully disturbing fan art back in the day. I recently returned from my 4-year darkness retreat where I experimented with many illegal substances and hallucinogens. After my release, my first thought was to start hanging out with toddlers. My second thought was to return back to this podcast after the long hiatus. I listened to the most recent episode as of this email, Tom Morello's One-Man Revolution. I was very pleased by the episode and on many occasions let out big laughs which shook my belly out of joy. I do have 2 questions. 1. There was a noticeable lack of mentions to Tim's cowboy status. Because of my hiatus, I am unaware of what happened to Tim's status and if he's reached new ranks in the cowboy world. I have. I'm still doing that.
I've just really asked him to stop talking about it.
That's fair. I mean, I don't, but he edits a lot of it out.
A lot.
Number 2, I can't tell if it's the surplus of benzo fury I took during the darkness retreat talking, but has your gay energy only gotten stronger since my absence? Keep that up. I think that's good for 2 of you.
Oh, wait, hold on. There is none of that.
Anyways, I am very glad to be back, for now at least. I look forward to future episodes and keeping in touch with you 2 fine gentlemen again. I added that last part, but it seemed like the vibe, you know?
I was about halfway through. I don't know how much of my laughing we'll edit out, but about halfway through I realized what you were doing. Timothy Richardson, master of voices.
This is his voice. I'm doing
That's such a crazy
impression
statement
on it.
Oh, well, always good to have a listener back. Don't hesitate, Drew, to download those back episodes.
Oh, yeah, you do not have to listen to them. You can find out about our cowboys and gay stuff if you want, but you don't have to.
There's no gay stuff.
I'm trying to reel him in.
Reel away, then. I did have an alternate email, which is just a suggestion that we do Doing It by LL Cool J, or Ladies Love Cool James.
Yeah.
Because it has a ridiculous music video with the most tame peep show you have ever seen. According to Morgan Anderson, Giuliani would approve.
Oh, gross.
And then our good buddy Finn commented on our now epic Christmas Shoes episode. This episode belongs in the goddamn Smithsonian.
Excellent.
Which made me giggle.
Yeah. It can go right there along with that Robert Johnson album. They are both recorded on the same device.
That's right. That's why it sounds so authentic. It's warm. It sounds warm.
Yeah.
Music news of the weird. Should you do it or should I?
Me, Tim. Tim should go.
Music news of the weird.
In Shabuzi news, Shabuzi, aka Collins Obina Shibuezi, called Shabuzi because his high school football coach could not pronounce his last name, which I obviously cannot criticize, recently tied Old Town Road as the longest running #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100 at 19 weeks with his song A Bar Song, parentheses Tipsy. Unfortunately, Garrett, Kendrick Lamar Duckworth released a surprise album which took over the top 5 Hot 100 spots, leaving Shabuzi to simmer in 6th place. But don't expect Shabuzi, of course, to sue Kendy Ducks or his record company because Shabuzi is not a whiny little cunt a la Aubrey Drake. It did hit 20 weeks at #1 on the Canadian chart, breaking Old Town Road's record there, which is pretty cool. But, I mean, it was a #1 single from July to November of this year, and I think technically he could claim the record because Lil Nas X's Old Town Road had 1 week atop the chart as a solo song, followed by 18 weeks with Billy Ray Cyrus remix.
Yeah.
So I think those should count as 2 separate songs, and I think we should give Shabuzi the award for, weeks or whatever.
Yeah, no. Point Shabuzi.
Excellent. Well done, Shabuzi. You are our king. Garrett.
WIHDA certified. Not our king, just holding the record. Jesus, I could tell halfway through you had lost the plot.
Garrett.
My goodness.
What is your news?
My news is truly weird.
Okay.
Exact Sciences has enlisted rappist Lil Jon, the poop emoji, and a singing toilet for its latest Cologuard marketing push, remixing the rapper's hit Get Low to encourage people to use its colon cancer screening test, which is a very fancy way of saying shitting in a box.
Interesting. Now, was Markle Zuckerberg involved at all?
No.
Not interested.
Singing toilet. Where Lil Jon originally called the women to lower their posteriors to the floor, the rapper now exhorts people to let them undies fall and sit that ass on the toilet seat.
Gross.
To screen for colon cancer. According to Lil Jon, and to be fair, what I'm about to read is completely true, and he should be commended for doing this, but it does not change the fact that it's insane. Quote, some health topics can be uncomfortable to talk about, which can lead to people, especially black men, not taking their health seriously until it's too late.
Take your health seriously, black men.
Tim, not your place. It's coming from a good place.
Yeah, it is.
Your love of black men, but don't say that. I reworked one of my iconic records, Get Low, to get people 45 plus to, quote, get low in a different way. This time with an easier way to screen for colon cancer, which is definitely a marketing line. And I also want to say that I'm 95% sure, and I am not a doctor, so do not take this as advice, but I'm like 95% sure it's like 50 to 55 plus. 45 sounds way too young.
I think there's different
markers or something.
Yeah, and I think it's younger depending on your race and some other issues.
Oh, okay, fair enough. In any event, it does seem mildly soul-crushing, but I at least appreciate the sentiment, and if it does help people not die of horrible and embarrassing disease,
it's not
cool.
Embarrassing. It's horrible.
It's a little embarrassing.
It's not
like,
embarrassing.
Let's cut that
you should not be embarrassed by any of this. Go get treated. What the fuck?
Oh, sorry. No, that's true. No, but it like not getting treatment will lead to the embarrassment. That's what I should have said. You don't get it treated, you wait around, they're just gonna have to take that whole colon. And then you have what we like to call a stoma.
Let's not listen. Don't listen to anything he's saying. Go get tested and treated. Jesus Christ.
I'm saying the same thing you are.
You are not. You're making it sound horrible. It's fine.
I'm
You'll
saying
be fine.
if you don't get tested and treated.
God.
I don't think you're listening. Tim, what other news do you have about pooping in boxes?
In surprising music news, music is doing all right. At least at the corporate level. This does not apply to the vast majority of people actually making music. But Garrett, the value of global music copyright is at an all-time high. For the first time ever, it's actually more valuable than the global movie box office, at least according to Spotify chief economist and scientist Will Page. This was the guy that recently reported that there is more music released every day in 2024 than all of 1989 combined. But Mr. Page, possibly Dr. Page, calculated the overall value of music this year, or actually 2023, at $45.5 billion, which is up from $25 billion in 2014, which is pretty crazy and not at all what I would have predicted. I guess streaming has really finally truly beaten piracy, maybe. But while that's...
But who's getting that money?
Oh, not the artists, Garrett. While that's impressive on its own, cinema is down from COVID and whatnot, with box office revenue at $33.2 billion, again, down in the COVID era from $41.9 billion in 2019. And also, I guess, I don't think Netflix counts for that, so I assume the visual media is far more profitable still on the whole. But some other weird facts.
That's true.
Vinyl sales are 1 billion globally, but that is still somehow less than CDs. It's expected to surpass them next year.
I could have sworn I read somewhere that they had done it.
Maybe. Live performance venues are more valuable than licensing for public use, which I guess that means that concerts rake in more profit than like music you hear in a gym or hotel or whatever. Which
makes sense.
It does, but that is a new change.
Yeah.
1/3 of streaming music in the US are non-American artists. Britain is number one, which is not surprising, but Mexico and Canada are the next. Colombia is 6th with $78 million, which is more than all of Colombia spends on their music.
Wow.
Yeah. You're welcome, Colombia.
We love your music and your cocaine.
Well, we don't, because we're a couple of 1-2 good boys.
Of course.
Yes, of course. Speaking of, do you have any other news, or possibly just a bunch of statistics?
No, I have news.
Oh.
In someone unfree Britney news.
Excellent.
Disturbing new footage has been posted to her Instagram account, Tim.
Stop following that.
I will not. The pop star starts off by talking about how the paparazzi put her on a plane with a mask over her face while carrying a torch given to her by a friend, which is Britney speak for, hey y'all, I was photographed on a private plane that made me look really pale, and I was holding a lighter my friend gave me. But as if any of that wasn't bizarre enough, Britney goes on to discuss that it's her birthday, first falsely stating that she's turning 42 when she is in fact turning 43. Then she corrects her statement about turning 42 and says, I'm only 5 years old and I'm going to kindergarten tomorrow.
Oh.
She wraps up by immediately saying, the paparazzi are mean and that's why I've moved to Mexico, before abruptly ending the video.
Did she move to Mexico?
She did not. She's on vacation.
Okay.
But might be confused about what vacation is. Jesus H. Christ. The most disturbing part is when she's like, I'm 5. I'm going to kindergarten tomorrow.
Yeah.
Also, she doesn't seem to know how old she is because she does say 42.
Yeah, but that could be that could just be a mistake. I sometimes guess at how old I am. I never guess 5 though, because I'm an adult
That's
man.
true.
Well, an adult-aged male.
Yeah, you're not a man. Anyway, Tim, any disturbing news from former pop icons
Yes.
for you?
In tragic diagnosis news this week, Nick Cannon has received devastating medical news. We urge our listeners to be respectful of his family and his privacy during this time. But in an interview with the medical journal People last week, Nick Cannon has announced that he has been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. He said, "I still don't understand it all the way, but I kind of always wanted to get tested for it. I did a bunch of tests. I feel like there's so many labels out there, but it's like to be able to embrace it and say, look, I'm healing. I need help. Show me. I just embrace mental health and therapy in such a strong way to be able to say I'm an example for others, but also to be healing during the self-process works too." He said he identified with NPD markers, that is, of course, narcissistic personality disorder, and is trying to overcome his quote-unquote lack of empathy and quote-unquote rage. "I'm just trying to be the best father I can be. I'm just trying to make the best out of the situation that I did create, but I'm still trying to step up." So again, we would like to ask you, the listener, to keep Mr. Cannon and his 12 children in his prayers this week. With the right treatment and a little perseverance, hopefully he can get through this. It sounds like he's got the right attitude, already thinking about how he's an example to others and kind of a hero if you think about it.
It's phenomenal in the middle where he starts bragging.
Starts bragging narcissistically, yeah. Definitely not responsible for any past actions, though, given his new medical diagnosis. In fact, I don't think he should have to pay child support.
No, those children should be on their own at this point. That guy has got to be just a walking nightmare.
Garrett, statistically, he is one of our fathers. You know that, right?
What?
He has so many children.
Yeah, but I think the ages don't line up.
He's at least related to one of us.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, we're cutting that.
What?
Garrett, do you have any other news?
Yeah, I've got some weird stuff.
Medical stuff?
And I do have a mildly medical thing, but I don't want to read that one yet.
Okay.
I want to read about Zone Corp. Zone Corp is Stephen King's radio station company.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, well, music news of the weird. Apparently, for the last 30 plus years, Stephen King has been the owner and operator of multiple radio stations in the greater Maine area. Sadly, he's announcing they're all being shut down at the end of this month. But prior to this, King originally bought WZON in 1983, and then he later acquired WZLO and WKIT. He changed the formats on all of them. He had WZON because of the Dead Zone. That was the radio station, I think, in the Dead Zone.
Oh, weird.
And he played rock hits and alternative. Very interesting. Apparently, Stephen King loves rock and roll. But basically, he released an announcement or a press release saying, "Hey, I'm 77 years old. I have never made and in fact have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars keeping this open. I just can't keep doing it. I'm fine. Don't worry, everyone. I'm healthy, but I'm going to continue to write 8 books a year and not be the owner and operator of multiple small independent radio stations."
I think this is a poor decision. I feel like when you say he loves rock music, he loves 50s rock. He's a big Buddy Holly fan, I think.
Yeah, a lot of Big Bopper.
Ooh.
Him and
Speaking of slamming into the ground while on a plane.
Excuse me? I mean, I know he did, but do you have more news about that?
No, that John Denver, Garrett, the guy we're talking about today.
I always picture him crashing into a mountain a la Krusty.
He might have.
When he fakes his death. I always assumed that was a reference to that
moment.
Are you
saying John Denver might have faked his death?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
John Denver, write in. Are you still alive? Do you listen to this show? Would you like to announce your return to the living on this show with perhaps a new single? Ideally not about child abuse or possibly wife beating on Christmas. But if it is that...
If you want... that's fine too.
Yeah.
It's not fine, but we'll do an episode.
No. You can come on our show and play that song live for the people. We might.
And if you are still alive and you just want to tell me and Tim, that's cool.
Yeah. We will not tell everyone.
But we will tell a few people.
Yeah.
You cannot hold on to a secret. Yeah, we'll just say it on the show.
Yeah.
Tim, any other news?
Let's see. Drake is suing UMG also a second time for the implication he's a pedophile.
Is an implication even slander? As long as you don't say it.
Garrett, this is why we have to say allegedly so much, even when it is just an implication.
Oh.
No.
I feel like we might need to start saying it more.
Yeah. Sean Combs is being sued for dangling a woman off her balcony. God. No, I think I'm good.
All right, well, we'll wrap up with announcing 2 deaths. One is Bob Breyer, the former drummer of My Chemical Romance. He was found dead at his home in Tennessee. Breyer was last heard from on November 4th. His body was then found weeks later in the process of decomposition. Tennessee authorities do not suspect foul play because his musical instruments and guns were still in the house. Sad.
Yeah.
And in an even sadder note, Will Cullen Hart, a founding member of the Athens, Georgia indie rock collective Elephant Six, died on Friday, November 29th of a heart attack, according to a statement from the Elephant Six website. They have like 2 new singles out.
Yeah, I feel like they were actually going to finally put out that 3rd album.
That was the plan.
Yeah, I feel like Rob Schneider might actually get it done faster with him being dead, for as weird as that sounds. Because all of their
less people to coordinate.
All of their stuff is recorded. It just needs to actually happen. But yeah, that's sad. I really liked his music.
Yeah.
Dusk at the Cubist Castle is fucking fantastic.
That is really good. It took maybe a year of you telling me to listen to that before I did.
Yeah, it sounds like what I feel like the Beatles would sound like if they were playing in like 1996.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. I just couldn't get over the fact that those words were in that combination meant anything.
Yeah.
Just banana rowboat tomfoolery. Okay, cool album name. So they will be missed. Well, one of them will be. The other one, it sounds like he didn't really talk to a lot of people much.
Yeah, but that's still sad.
R.I.P. It's still sad. And he was the drummer on their very, very popular Black Parade album. So
yeah,
he's infamous. Alrighty, that's going to do it for this week. I think the next time we get together, Timbo, we're going to be talking about the one, the only ICP. That's right, folks. The season, the reason for the season. Merry Pissmas. We're doing some ICP.
Yeah,
we need to get stockings. One that says Merry and the other that says Pissmas. Yours will be Pissmas.
God damn it. If anyone out there knits or sews or whatever, feel free to make us Merry and Pissmas as 2 different things. We'll give you a P.O. box in Peoria, Illinois that you can send them to. We pick up stuff from there once a month.
Yeah. Or if you want to get ambitious, I would love a sweater that said Merry Pissmas.
Ooh, me too. I'm a medium, but like an adult medium. I'm short,
and I'm a large. About 6 foot, 180, muscular, broad frame.
He is entirely like 83% shoulder. So factor that in however you'd like.
Yeah, I have the basic dimensions of Bruce Wayne in Batman the Animated Series.
No. That is not what I'm saying.
Oh, we're saying the same thing.
I do not think so.
Agree to disagree.
Ben
that
Affleck
we are agreeing.
had the exact proportions of that cartoon in that terrible, terrible movie, and you are not Affleck shaped.
No, nobody is. That guy was terrifying in that.
Yeah.
I'm like the real life version.
Yeah, all right. No. You are not. But yeah, we're going to do Carnival of Carnage, the first album from like 92. So you know it's going to be good because all of their best ideas, they put them on that first album.
I guarantee you it's going to be one of the best ones we've heard. Although Yum Yum Bedlam was not bad.
They were all so bad.
I mean on the IC Pissmas scale.
A 1992 Kid Rock is on this album, Garrett.
Now that's intriguing. Because that's well before he broke.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. Get giddy. Folks.
Oh, I'm excited.
Put on your Pissmas gear.
Everything you're saying is just so tawdry.
It's the season, Tim. IC Penis? That's worse.
Yeah.
Merry IC Penis.
Are you saying penis?
Of course not.
Okay.
ICP Mass.
Oh, I don't hear the difference.
It does sound like I'm saying IC Penis. I don't.
That time you did say it though, right?
That time I said it, yes. Okay, we have to stop. This has devolved into nonsense. Folks, that's going to do it for this week. If you're still listening, and I doubt you are, rate, review, subscribe, follow, share, bully other people into listening to it. I don't care how you get it done. Get it done. Okay? We're dying out here. We need to get the numbers up. That's what they tell me.
Are we? Jesus.
I mean, we've always been. Basically, Tim, we're the news radio of podcasts.
Jesus.
We're on the cusp every week.
I was hoping for at least a Just Shoot Me.
No. That's like that Dax Shepard show. It's wildly popular, but nobody knows why.
I've never heard of this.
You ever heard of Dax Shepard's podcast?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not talking about that.
No, I know you're not. You're talking about Just Shoot Me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm saying that the equivalent, I'm saying that Dax Shepard is the Just Shoot Me of podcasts. Wildly popular, but nobody knows why.
Oh.
Yes. It's a joke about both things being not great.
I don't want to be great,
accurate.
Garrett. I want to be popular and rich.
We should do Not a Surf. Anyway, let's finish this, though. Reach out to us. We're on Instagram. It's HatePod. Twitter, Album HatePod. Although, God, that platform sucks.
Should we get a Blue Sky? I hear all the liberals
we
are
should
going
probably
to Blue
do
Sky.
Yeah, people are talking about the Blue Sky. Yet another platform we can not post on. Anyway, please do reach out to us. Send us your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams, your suggestions. We will respond to you. It just takes some time. We're a two-man operation, and we have about 30 interns that do nothing but work against us to get anything done.
Yeah,
and a
the
producer
lawyer-
that well, I love that you call him lawyer, I call him producer. He's both, but one of those things he absolutely has no idea what he's doing.
I would argue both.
The podcast gets released.
Yeah, but I don't think he does anything.
No, that's true. It's all me.
I feel like he's the janitor too, right? This place is filthy.
That's disgusting. Disgusting. Smells like meat and cheese.
That's not
But like
related.
old. Oh, god damn it. All right. I feel like this is just a Sisyphean hill we're never going to get up. Make this end. So please reach out to us. hatepodmail@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. We enjoy it. We'll respond. We'll read it on the show. If you don't want us to read it on the show, just say, hey, don't read this on the show. And we won't. Or say, you can read it on the show, but just don't use my name. We're very amenable. We appreciate the content. We'll respect your privacy. Or you could just reach out to us with a fun idea for a new episode. And that could be an album. That could be a song. That could be a music video that's just particularly strange. That could be a movie. Tim and I like to watch movies. About half of you hate it when we do that. I don't care. So suggest those movies. But for this week and next week and a little bit of last week, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Timothy P. Richardson, and on August 12th, 2015, Garrett P. Harvey Oswald said, you brought a chessboard to a knife fight. Which is true, but I did win that fight. Bashed him good with that granite chessboard.
Yeah, I was expecting cardboard, not finger-breaking granite. And coincidentally, knife-breaking.
Bashed him good.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gary.